Welcome in. It is day 126, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today we're going to be jumping into a game that was kind of categorized for a while for me in the same area as Azul. Now, as time has gone on, I have completely shifted this into a different category. I realized that I was really just comparing them based on theme alone and not on actual play style. But I actually decided to pick this up first and was really excited about this game. And it's a big hit with my family. And then I went and picked up Azul, which I'd already played prior, and ended up being like, I don't know why I thought I liked this one more. That being said, it's still a really good game. That game is Sagrada. Now, the idea of Sagrada is everybody's trying to build stained glass windows. So you get this little 5x5 sheet, or a window, and then a 5x5 sheets are dealt out. You can do it how you want. You could just randomly deal everybody a sheet. You could deal people a couple sheets and let them choose the one they want to go for. There's different levels of difficulty of the sheets. And once you pick one, you slide it into your window, and now you have your setup. Now, what they'll do is, technically, the way around will work is you grab so many dice out of the bag based on number of players. So usually, if you're playing 4 players, you're going to be pulling out 9 dice. It's going to be 2 dice per player plus 1 bonus die. You roll all the dice, and then whoever the first player is, they grab a die. Now you're going to have multiple colors. You got blue, green, red, yellow. I'm sure more, but I'm not remembering. Purple. So you have your dice, colors, and the idea is you have to start with your first die, placing it somewhere along the perimeter. You know, you have to build out and then in. So once you put your first die down, you've given your die, and now every die that comes after that has to be off of this dice. You have to be able, it has to be something that's around that spot. So, you know, if you put in one in the corner, now there's only 3 options. But when you put one over here, it's off of all your existing dice. So it's not like, okay, follow the die you just placed. You're slowly expanding. However, there are a lot of restrictions with this game. The obvious restrictions are on your board. If you see a spot that has a number, you have to put a die with that number there. If you see a spot with a color, you have to put that color there. But then the additional restrictions are, you cannot place 2 of the exact same color directly next to each other, side by side or above and below. And that's the same rule for the same number. So you got to be careful about those. So these restrictions are going to be difficult because it's not only is it restricting those placements, but now you've already got permanent, you have to put this kind of a number or color in a spot. So based on what you do early, it could mess you up later. Then you've got a few different pieces that come into play. You've got your rules. Usually there'll be 3 rules set for it. And these will be some kind of a, basically, when I say rule, I mean like a payout. So it might say, hey, for this one, for every time that you place a color down, you're going to get a point for everything in a diagonal. So if you do 1, 2, 3, you're going to get 1, 2, 3 points for that diagonal. Or you have another one that says, if you can put everything in a single column as different numbers. So your numbers are 1 through 6, you have 5 options. So if you can do 5 different numbers in a column, you'll get a 4-point payout. And you'll do it for every column, so potentially 20 points. Or 1 for every row. Or the same thing, but with colors. Or it might be one that says you're going to get paid a point or 2 points for every time that you have a 1 and a 2 on the board. So at the end of the game, it counts up and it says, well, on your board, you've got 5 1s and 3 2s, so you have 3 pairs, so we're going to give you 6 points. Lots of stuff like that. 3 of them come out, and that helps to assess what you're trying to do. But then on top of that, you're going to have your own color, which is, I believe, only for you to know. Nobody else knows your color. So you get paid the pips on the dice you place of that color. So you're obviously trying to place as many 6s of those as you can. And then you also are going to get paid, or minused out at the end, based on every blank space on your window. So whenever you place a die, if you place one out and the next one you gets back to you, you goes me, player 2, player 3, player 4 goes again, player 3, player 2, player 1, gets back to me at the end, there's only 2 dice remaining. If I can't place one legally, I missed that die opportunity, which means now at the end of the game, I'm going to have an open window. Not good. Also, there are going to be basically cheats allowed. The way cheats work is, and this is where the difficulty of your sheet comes in. A difficult sheet means they're going to flood it with more and more colors and numbers. An easy sheet has very few of them. A hard sheet's going to have a lot of them. But what comes with those is these little glass components. And the idea is that these are kind of like a payment. At the end of the game, for every one that you have, it's worth a point. But you can't gain more through the game. So a person who has an easy sheet might only start the game with 3, and a person with a hard sheet might start the game with 5 or 6. And during the game, you can have 3 cards up top. And these cards are cheats. They let you break the rules and do something different. So one of them might say, if you use this card, you can place your die anywhere on your window. You don't have to follow putting it next to another. Or another one might say, you know, when you place your first die, immediately place your second die. Another one might say you are allowed to place 2 of the same number directly next to each other right now. So you've got options that this allows you. Whoever's the first person who does a cheat will do it for 1 of their glass tokens. So you place the glass token on the cheat to represent that you're using it, and then you go do the cheat. Whoever then uses the cheat the next time has to pay 2, and it's now going to be 2 every time going forward. So if you're going to cheat, you're hoping to get in there cheap and get it for 1. That way you both have the option for more cheats, or you could hold on to more glass pieces for the end of the game that are worth points. So all of this comes together, you play through your game, and you try your absolute best to try to finish your window, follow your rules, get as many points as you can. It's a pretty fun game, but we're judging this game today on our 7 categories. So why don't we jump into there and see where this ranks. The art of this game is beautiful, and that's the whole concept. The box is the same as your board and your dice. It's supposed to be a stained glass window, and it sells what it is, and it does it in a colorful, really nice way. The box grabs people's eyes. It's a very high-selling game because of this box. Now, I compare it to Azul because it's also trying to put together essentially a window. There's only one of the 4 that's a stained glass window, but same concept of this picture. But it's so different because that's tiles and this is dice, and that is a giant shift in play style. And while I prefer that one, this is one that I will never get rid of, and I definitely pull it out and play with the family on a lot of occasions. So I think the art really backs this up. It's a thumbs up. The components, you have your actual player boards, which are really nice cardboard that you slide your then kind of flimsy but very good quality cards into, and then you get your dice. You've also got your little pieces of glass, and then you've got your cards. All of it's really good material. I can't complain about it at all. I think they put a good amount into this. It's a thumbs up. Your price. So this game is one you will find at Barnes & Nobles. I believe you'll find it at least on occasion at a Target. And you'll probably find it at 3, maybe 4 out of 5 board game stores. And this goes for right around that 40 range. You might find it for 50 at times, but I'm pretty sure this has been pretty steadily at 40 for a while now. I think this is a fantastic game for its price. I think that it's one that you really would enjoy and that it's worth the penny, every penny you pay for it. So it's a thumbs up there. Difficulty. That's what I love about the options here. Do you have a bunch of people who are playing at a mix that are new and experienced and experts? And therefore, well, give the expert the hardest and give the experienced the medium size and give the beginner the easy one. You can mix your difficulties, and it doesn't feel unfair to the expert who goes, well, he may be brand new, but he's a great gamer. He's going to pick this up in 2 seconds, because you go, well, yeah, but that's mitigated by the fact he has fewer of the glass tokens, meaning fewer bonus points at the end or fewer ways to cheat to allow him a way around. So I think this game really balances that well, and it's definitely, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not difficult in the idea of what do I do next. There's a lot of mind puzzling here for trying to figure out a scenario or how to play against the players I'm up against. It's trying to figure out this puzzle that's in front of you. It's a puzzle game at the end of the day. It's just there's multiple puzzles going on, and you do need to pay attention on occasion to What are the other people looking for? There's no way they're going to take that red 5 because they've only got 6 spots left. 3 of them require a 2, a 4, and a 6, and then the other one requires a green, and that requires a yellow. They've only got 1 real open spot, and it's next to a 5. So they're not doing that. And if you pay attention in that way, you can figure out, what do I take for my first die compared to my second die, because you might know which one has a better chance to get back to you. I think that they do a really good job with that. Hit the thumbs up. Your replayability is interesting because I think this is a game that if you don't have as big of a collection as mine, you will get this out like on a weekend, like once, twice, maybe 3 times a month. And when you do pull it out, I think this is the kind of game you can play multiple times in a row. I've had family get-togethers where we play this game 2 or 3 times in a row. So I think this has a lot of replayability. It's just one that starts to fall off as your collection swells. My collection, when it reached a certain point, started to get a lot more comparable games. I never used to get multiple games that were really close in playstyle because I felt, oh, I've already got this one, why would I add another one? But I eventually got Azul, which I compared to this, because my games started to get to that point and I wanted options. And then even though it's not comparable for playstyle, for its length of game, it just is the one that I started playing more, and now I've got 4 different Azuls. So it's really the battle between those 4. So this one now loses out in my collection. But I think on a lot of beginners and a lot of medium collection people, this is a game that could easily be replayable a lot of the year. So thumbs up. Keys to victory. Well, you would think that there's not a lot, but there is. And the reason being is not only do you have the obvious, fill your window, try to not leave any space. You've also got, how are you filling that window? Which of the 3 scoring markers are you going to target? And are you going to pay attention to your color? And don't forget that those scoring markers are constantly changing game to game, so you never know which ones you're going to get. And how are you going to use your bonus things to your cheats? There's so many little things there. I feel like every game, yeah, there could be a game where you say, oh, well, there's no way I can do scoring here and here because these 2 like bonus scorings kind of oppose each other, and I have to choose A or B, and B pays better than A, so of course I'll go with B. So yes, there can be a game individually where you go, that's the obvious key to victory, but because it always is changing, the game as a whole is a huge win there. So it's thumbs up. Unique. Is it unique? So again, I don't think that this game is comparable when it comes to its play style to that of Azul. But Azul Stained Glass is a very comparable theme, and the other Azuls still kind of feel a little bit like that at times. That being said, if we eliminate the Azuls from this, they are out of the equation. I own the game Role Player, and Role Player for me was a far superior game of this. The same concept of rolling the dice and one by one collecting them. And then you go from there to place them into your, instead of your window, it's your character's attributes and skill points. I would play that before this every time. It's a more difficult game, which is why I like it. And it's like at next level up. Whereas this one, I think that the beginners can play. That one may not be as welcoming, but where the experts could appreciate this, the experts will love that. And for that reason, that's my game, and this one is not, and this one gets a thumbs down. Overall, what do I think of this game? I think if you are a beginner, if you're really just getting in, or if you're maybe an expert or experienced player, but you don't collect a lot of games, you tend to go to board game nights with other people, you do the conventions, you tend to try to keep your games under a certain level. I think that this is one that is a really good add to the collection. It's definitely worth a play, but I think it's a really good add for those smaller collections that want to grow. Get it early on, and then feel it out. Maybe in the years you do decide, unlike myself, you don't want it in the collection anymore. I don't cull very often. I only truly pull a game out of my collection if I don't like the game. If I get a game and it just fails for me, that's the game I'll consider to move on from. But even then, I don't like to get rid of every game because you never know. You might end up changing your mind down the line, or you might end up finding people who love the game and you want to have options for other people. So I don't jump at throwing games out. I've only gotten rid of 3 or 4 games through the years. So for me, I would hold on to it all the time. Maybe you look at it and you go, well, I'm not sure, I might like that better, and I'm only going to have one. So if I get this first and then I get that second and I like it more, I'm going to get rid of this. Well, if that's how you are, don't buy it. But if you're the type that has a small collection and you just want to grow it, pick this up. I think you'll love it. But that's just my opinion. It's up to you to get out there, find the game or games that you're interested in, and see how you want to grow your collection. It's all up to the play styles that you're into, the players that you play with, and the way that you envision your collection and the way that you get games 5-10 years down the line. Well, today has been day 125, and we've been speaking about the game Sagrada. And you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description. I'll be adding an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.